WIIFTBPN.
WIIFTBP. Media's just for you and me. WIIFTBP. Media's just for you and me.
Oh man, they done messed around and gave New Era Chicago their own radio show. What they do that for?
You done messed up!
So what we doing, bro?
Man, we talk about power.
Did you say power?
Not rights and equality, but power. We ain't begging, we building.
In that order, Chicago, and we got dope segments. Hey, yo, sis, holla at them.
Peace and love, family. It's Sister E of New Era Chicago in the building, dropping the statistics, holistics, and of course the ballistics. Good for the mind, body, and the soul. Let's get it, family.
And this your boy D Cook coming with straight facts. If you don't know, now you know.
And this is your other sister, Omo Oya Music, coming in peace, love, and light, getting real with my people so we can quit with the bull spit.
And this brother E, and I'm gonna wrap it up with the power surge.
Listen, this going down every Wednesday night, 5 to 6 p.m. Tell a friend to tell a friend. It's the Black Power Hour, New Era Chicago Radio on What's in It for the Black People Media.
All power to the people.
All power to the people.
The skin of men fit me fine, tailor-made, yeah, I'm comfortable. And so it seems I'm still chasing my dreams. They told me, watch my steps, they want to pull the rug from under you. This is transparency, my life 3D. You live every word that I utter, reporting live from the gutter. Where the mind's hard to change, but we don't give up on our brothers and sisters. Cause we all need one another. The time's getting closer, revolution, feel it coming. I can smell it in the air. Inhale it, let it embody you. Because chances are the cops pull you over, they body you. Plus we don't trust each other, so there's just another obstacle. Why jump hurdles to make a change? It ain't optional. Olympian mindset in this booth with my binoculars. I see my vision getting clear. Justice what a prophet do. My music touch the people's soul. Black power gospel tunes. So many styles, watch me kick them like they soccer moves. Falling rank and file, this is my platoon. Soldiers at attention, ain't no Willie lynching. This the program. Who they think they kidding? Reinvent the system. Total reconstruction of our mental stigma. This ain't a game, boy. Still they think I'm talking about Nintendo's. That's a shame, boy. Augment reality. Better fix your brain, boy. I love my people, hope they love me black. I'm going hard and ain't no holding back. Watch me react. I put my fist up in the skies like the beacons for believers that one day we return to our greatest shit. We seek it all the glory we can obtain and keep reaching. I'm painting this picture. I hope you see it. Just what the theme is. I love being black. We turning up. I love being black. Say it loud. Man, I love being black. One more time. I love being black. Hey. Well, how about you to sing these tunes too? Customize for you a little something you can groove to. Feeling good about yourself. Melanated mood muse. Always service humble pie. We don't care about who's who. Light brown or dark skin. This right here's for you too. We are the gods of the earth. Living proof truth. Say it loud if you black and proud. I salute you and that's a fact. Where you at? Let me hear you say it back. I love being black. We turning up. I love being black. Say it loud. Man, I love being black. One more time. I love being black. Hey. Super melanation, renovation of our databases. Gotta fix the trinity to make it past the matrix. There's a rabbit in the hole. No decision, you gon' chase it or just shut up for complacency. Here's your motivation. Black power in your veins.
In all of the programs that I attended, all of the education that I had, college, public, and otherwise, nobody ever told me that I was an African woman. Nobody ever told me what the history of African people were. Nobody ever told me that America is business and without business you will have nothing and be nothing. And nobody ever told me how to organize business so that I would be able to develop institutions in my own community. So now the sincerity of all of of the programs and all of the education has to be questioned, indicted, and convicted, because the bottom line is that America is not and has never tried to produce African adults who are functional, self-sufficient, who understand their politics, their economics, and their relationship to the world politics and the world economics. Listen, you have to have some confidence in the power of African people amongst ourselves to establish a foundation. We have utter chaos in our cities, and you got to build that. You can have a program. I'm not saying we've built a lot of institutions, and those institutions have not been effective. The majority of millions of African youth in this country are dying mentally, dying spiritually, dying emotionally, dying academically, and you may have a program, Mr. Brown may have a program, but what we got to talk about is an American government that tracks millions of African people who don't go to your program, don't go to Brown's program, millions of African people, not only here, but all around the world. And if we are not honest enough to say who are our friends, who are our enemies, to know what a friend is, to know what an enemy is, we will constantly be trying to get into people's parties, to shake our butts with them, to get them to like us, and that's not the question. The question is, what can we build amongst ourselves to secure ourselves from our enemies so that we will be able to survive into the future?
Yes, family, you already know what time it is. Anytime you hear our sister come in with that powerful message, then you know it's the #1 Black Power Hour, New Era Chicago Radio on What's in It for the Black People Media. And you know I'm never alone.
Never. I'm
always in the building with powerful individuals. And today I'm in here with none other than my strong sister, Sister Oya. What's good, sis?
Hey, how you feel? I'm looking. I don't know if they seeing what I'm seeing, but who is these two chunky sisters on the chicks?
Hot dogs.
I don't know. Maybe we seeing something different. We just trying to look for the comments and so forth. Either way, I know y'all in here. I know y'all tuned it in. So we like, what's good, family?
Ain't no question.
They don't look like us.
Sister Oya, I'm with y'all, right? I'm just trying to.
I'm trying to figure out.
Over here, I'm on security. You know what I'm saying? No doubt.
Okay, they see us.
No
we
doubt,
don't see us.
no doubt. Sister E, what's good?
What's good, man? We y'all know it's been 3 days in the wintertime and I'm over it, but I ain't gonna complain. I ain't tripping.
We complain a little bit.
We got about 4 more months.
I heard that shaking in your voice too.
Man,
like, hey, it's out here.
It make you cuss every time you get out there.
Jesus.
Jack Frost out here nipping at our nose already.
You calling little man, baby, infant, adult, and teenager Jesus.
And we know what that cuss sound like. Shit.
No doubt.
Shit. That's how you got to do.
But all is good.
Right?
How y'all feel?
I'm powerful today, sis, as always, you know. And every time we get together, it's something about when we get together, right? Mm-hmm. It's a powerful feeling. Even if I was down, I'm coming up,
that's
right?
True. Yeah, that's true.
Throughout my whole day, I'm waiting on this moment right here for us to get to this hour. I'm just using my energy in pockets.
Yes, sir.
I ain't giving nobody too much.
Right.
No,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
I need this for the power hour later on tonight, right?
That's
for sure.
it.
So I'm feeling powerful today. Listen, family, before we get started, we just want to say to y'all each and every week, we can't do this without you. We cannot do this without you, so we honor you and we appreciate you for not just tuning in, but being a part of the show. We pay attention to the comments that come through, and we just want to tell you all, like, there's no doubt, and this is just affirmations for us to know that, because when we're out doing our work, we say to ourselves, like, we know it's some more brothers and sisters that got the same pulse out here, right? And you guys show us that each and every week. So please tell a friend to tell a friend. Tune in. This is the #1 Black Power Hour in the nation. We understand that we have to govern ourselves. The one thing that you're going to get from New Era Chicago Radio every time you come in is integrity.
Come on. All day.
You're going to get integrity when we talk. We don't have to pay nobody. We're not in bed with nobody. We strictly for our people, family.
And that's the beauty of being on this platform. What's in it for the Black People Media is because, you know, the people that manage and own this publication, it didn't lay out no rules. We didn't have to sign no paperwork. No souls were signed over. They just said, man, we see what you're doing. We hear it. And we want you to bring that, you know what I'm saying, just be you. Do y'all. And, man, that's freeing.
And sis, you know, as you was just saying that right now, I think about how sometimes when people like, when a movie cast comes together and it's like a cast from people who's from the same nationality, same race, and they say, no, this has never happened before, you know?
Yeah.
We never had a movie like Black Panther to where we
Yeah.
had like a whole Let me tell y'all something about what's in it for the black people media.
The
When we
whole
come
cast.
inside here, family, from top to bottom,
Yeah,
we don't
yeah.
even move like that. We just a cross because
Yeah.
everybody bosses in here.
Yeah.
Like you see somebody doing something that you can identify what the person who's doing it and what they're doing. It's affirmation for you that you can make it happen.
That's it.
Our sister back there controlling the boards right now.
Nah.
Big pimping on the boards right now.
Nah.
Shout out
Sister
to our
Shani.
sister. Come on now. I love your smile, sis. You're doing your
love
thing
this
back there,
And
right?
it's so gorgeous.
Brother Reese doing his
Yeah.
thing around here,
Yeah.
right?
Reese tried to dress like me today, but I ain't gonna say
He
nothing.
did. I saw him. He tried to pull it.
He on that.
His shoes match though.
He out here biting. He out here biting.
He out here biting. Look. He out here biting. He doing it. He doing it.
But this is what we talking
I'm
about,
gonna start
family.
calling Reese Eric number 2 because he always come in like this too, real quick. On him.
Hey, it sound like that at 6 o'clock in the morning too.
Exactly. Like right now with the traffic today.
Yeah.
You know, they driving slow as hell, family. So
Shots fired. Y'all ain't the only one that can get it in, Reese.
Talk about that hawk is out there. It's gonna be out there for about 4 more months.
yeah.
No doubt, no doubt. All right, so check this out, family, right? It's a message in everything that we bring to the table. Just that last little 2 minutes that you heard us like working together, right? It's a smile that's coming from our producer. The other Reese walking in, he
Yeah,
smile.
yeah.
We bonding.
Yeah.
Because we understand that if we all collaborate together, now that's an energy that no enemy can stop, right?
That's
right.
So
They
today,
scared of it.
They scared
They
of
scared
it.
of that energy.
Sister.
Organic.
sister.
They scared of that. They'll put little fake memes out to create dissension because I sure believe it that it's some people on the other side that be putting out little stuff and they like that bickering, that back and forth. But when we come together and it's a joyous, you know what I'm saying, it's natural, oh, that's dangerous.
Yeah,
Yeah.
super dangerous right there, right?
And especially when it's recorded. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
So they definitely
It can
For
be
the record book,
disseminated.
right? It's
Yeah,
on
yeah.
file.
Yeah.
It can be just yeah.
You know what I'm saying? For the record, right?
Yeah.
So listen, family, you know we don't hold no punches. New Era Chicago comes in, and let me say this, something that you all might not get a chance to see. Like, New Era Chicago, we not just coming in and just sparing the moment. Like, let's talk about this in this particular moment right here. No, family. We thinking about you guys from the moment before we come on the air, while we are on the air, and the moment we leave air. We're automatic. We get together each and every week and process what it is that we want to talk about, the
Right.
approach, right? It means that much to us, right?
sure.
The reason that I'm saying it is because a lot of times we always see the finished product. We never see the process on how something is made, right?
Right.
That goes back to that instant gratification. We just want the cake, not necessarily the
Yeah,
ingredients
nobody
that
want to
make
stir
it
the
happen,
batter.
right?
Yeah.
And so that causes us to leave a lot of stuff swept under the rug. New Era Chicago, we have a responsibility in the community to bring things to the forefront that may be in some form or fashion considered taboo within
Right.
our communities.
Exactly.
And just to go one step further, not even in the community,
Yeah.
but in the house.
That's
yeah.
it.
In the house.
Where it started.
Individual. So this is a big topic that we're going to discuss today. The reason we're going to do it is because we know that we can't solve a problem without bringing everybody to the table to discuss it. Those that are closest to the problem are closest to the solution.
Absolutely.
That's it.
Right, family?
I like that, bro.
Absolutely. I like yeah.
Right. Today,
Those that are closest to the problem are closest to the solution.
absolutely.
Put it on a t-shirt.
Come on, let's go. Listen, family, today we're going to talk about rape and molestation. What takes place inside of our communities, family. This is a big deal. Big
It
deal.
is.
And men lie, women lie, but numbers don't lie, family.
That's it.
Numbers don't lie. And when we think about it, all of us, and I mean all of us, I said that absolute, have someone or know someone or have came in contact with someone who may be suffering in silence. But most of the time, some of these things that's happening to us happen right underneath our noses. We just sweep it away because we don't have the skill set to deal with it.
Right.
we understand at the end of this conversation, we may not have all the solutions to solve problems, but what we wanted to do
Exactly.
is just bring this conversation to the table to remove the taboo. Sister
Right.
Oya, take over.
Yeah, like we definitely need the way that we communicate with each other. That's big in our community in general. Like we have to learn how to communicate with each other, especially when we're hurting, especially when there are things that are going wrong. But understanding that it can be difficult for someone to open up about their hurt, those surrounding, those in the household, be cognizant enough to recognize when there's an issue. Oftentimes, like when we're talking about rape and molestation, somebody knows something. You know, there's some history where it's been heard about, it's been talked about. Auntie and them used to talk about it. Somebody knows what's happening. So if you see certain behaviors, if you see a child moving differently, a young woman, a young man moving differently, if you got a sister that's acting out and your gut is gonna tell you. You know what I'm saying? That intuition that we have is serious. Something in you is gonna say something ain't right, and I think I might know what that is. And if you think that's what that is, don't hold your tongue. Don't hold your tongue. Go in love and make it a safe space and speak to that individual and just let them know, if nothing else, I'm an ear. I'm not saying that we, getting ready to jump off the ledge. I'm not proposing anything right now other than you talk to me and know that I'm here. And I find that oftentimes, like our children, as it relates to the communication, they're afraid to say things that are happening to them because they are afraid of how the adults are going to take it, are going to handle it. I can't even talk to mama about my menstruation. I can't even talk to mama about sex or this boy that I like, because if I tell her I like this boy, it's going to go, what? You like a boy? Daddy, my daughter ain't liking no boys. It's like, wait a minute. Like, these are all natural parts of life. But if we aren't having the basic conversations about real shit, when stuff gets serious, it makes it that more difficult for people to open up.
Stalled.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think for me, just opening up that space. And I think that in our generation right now, I think we've broken some generational curses because we parent differently.
It's true.
We talk about those things that we didn't talk about when we were children, and it's a lot. Just thinking about my mom. All my sisters always say, "I ain't raising my kids." Like my mama raised us. I'm raising my kids exactly like my mama raised us. But there are some things that we have to change. So, I've always talked, and I have boys. I can't say what's different as far as rape and molestation, as far as boys versus girls, or vice versa. It's all traumatic. And so even with me having to have those conversations with my boys, it was always like, hey, don't nobody touch this, you know what I mean? And it's just being comfortable enough to just talk about it. And having that relationship with your children, or as, a friend or whatnot, and us recognizing those changes that you mentioned, sis, knowing like, this child doesn't always act up, or, this is something going on. It's so many different back and forth things we tend to argue about. I know Sister Chandra used to always say she hated the saying when people say, those little girls being fast, or what have you. And it's just like, well, what introduced her to that part? You know what I mean? So it's a broad thing, but overall, we always trying to come with solutions or whatnot. What we're trying to do today is just try to encourage everybody, and opening up that space and having the nerve to talk about it, to address it without fear. Because the thought of it to me just be like, ugh. So, having a conversation and knowing that my children and I, we have that bond and connect. I just pray that everybody is able to at least open their minds up to that, because what goes undiscussed, it creates more generational curses.
It does. It does.
So,
and resentment within the family.
Yeah.
You end up hating Big Mama because
you didn't protect me.
And Big Mama might be suffering through some things. So if you open up, that might be the catalyst that she needs
Talk about it.
to, break the curses that bound her. Something may have happened to her and she couldn't talk about it, or she was taught to deal with it by sweeping it under the rug. And that's all she knows. That's what she's been taught. And so, you know, my mother always said, each generation is supposed to be better than the last. And I find that to be absolutely true. And it can be daunting, you know, when you're in the presence of your elders to correct them. But I think as long as you're doing so with love and respect, there's a way to introduce that conversation where you can just say, hey, listen, I'm broken, you're broken, we're broken.
That part.
And let me tell you why.
Yeah.
You know, and even if Big Mama, you know, no, I don't want to talk about this, then you say, okay, Big Mama, you know, okay.
But you know, I'm sorry, sis.
No, go ahead. The outside door is locked. Eric is trying to say he's trying to come in.
Gotcha.
What I want to add to that though, when we talk about Big Mama now, I won't say everybody's Big Mama know or didn't know or whatnot. Sometimes they do know, and you have to, you know, they always say, charges in my head and not my heart. No, I have to hold you accountable as well.
Yeah.
And so as we talk about the youth, we also have to discuss the adults as well. We in these certain spaces where the women are basically shunned in a sense by speaking out about it, you know, and it puts you in a space because it's just like, man, you know, we're adults some people lie, you know what I'm saying? We get all of that, you know, oh, he raped me, oh, he didn't, but just the way that we handle it, I think that we need to be a little bit more sensitive, because it happens. It happens, and it may not be the whole clubbing type of rape that people think, but no means no, and force is force. And we all talked about it not just being men raping women. We talked about women molesting boys.
That's a tight
and
subject
girls.
for me and sis when we get to talking about. I can't,
you know,
because we have boys.
We have boys, so
and
it's
we
just
know that it happens.
and it's just like, you know, and it gets confusing because in the Black community, you know, the boys are patted on the back if you nab a 19-year-old and you 13.
Yeah.
You think about it, her ass supposed to be locked up.
Yeah.
Because what interests you in a 13-year-old? You know, the movie Antoine Fisher.
Oh, that's my movie. Who cries for the little boy?
All the stories they don't end that way.
Yeah.
You know, you don't get to go back to your aggressor. Your aggressor is your family member. And then don't let them be somebody that everybody fearful of. Then ain't everybody gonna have their head down around them. Put some clothes on.
Favorite.
Yeah, put some clothes on. Now, granted, you ain't supposed to be walking around looking like you look, you know, like you comfortable
Any
and,
kind of way, yeah.
you know, skin all out. But, you know, if you at home comfortable and y'all know that y'all got to give that type of warning when Uncle so-and-so come up in there or Auntie so-and-so come up in there, Auntie so-and-so or Uncle so-and-so shouldn't even be in there.
Period.
And that's just it. That's the protection of as parents, as family members that we need to have. And sweeping it under the rug, as we all know, just like bro said, it's happened so many times. We all know somebody. And at that point, it's never addressed. And so resentment, it goes on. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it's just, it's a tough thing. And we really got to kind of get to the bottom of it. If not just getting to the bottom of it, just being able to talk about it at least. It's shunned. You know, we can talk about it in ways, you know, where it's revealing and it's, you know, we trying to get everybody to do it. But at the same time, we you know, we have the youth out there as well. The youth are listening and, you know, they're looking. And the thing about this generation right now, they're passionate. They're passionate, they're strong. And I would say that they're strong enough to speak out in anger, and that resentment comes out, you know, and it's just a lot of self-hurt, you know, and we never know why. You know, everything that you turn on nowadays is just, it promotes just sexuality and everything. The way they promoting the sale of phones, and it's confusing, but at the same time, it's just, we have to be there to guide and acknowledge our children in those spaces.
Absolutely. Family. We're talking about rape and molestation right here, New Era Chicago Radio, and What's in It for the Black People Media. Sis, I want to go back, though, because you brought up, like, an interesting movie, Antoine Fisher. Like, we actually, in grad school, we actually processed that movie and broke that down because at the time, that was one of the most traumatizing movies that we could find to bring in to diagnose and break down.
Yeah.
Because it was actually That was actually that wasn't that far off at all. That
Yeah.
was like on point. You know, everything that Antoine Fisher and the way him and Denzel moved. The things that I want to point out from that is the long-term effects of trauma. And it's not that it affects you in that moment. Like you saw Antoine Fisher, the after effects, the residual effects of what happened to him was aggression.
It was triggered.
It was defensive. He wasn't able to, enjoy his relationship and bond with his girl because, I really don't know my place. Auntie was dominant on me. I didn't feel protected. I was abandoned.
Yeah.
My friend got killed. Every time I hear that cowbell, that triggers me. It's a lot balled up into one, and he didn't get a chance to have that conversation
Exactly.
until he got to the military.
Exactly.
So what are we talking about today? We're talking about today like just taking a step back and thinking about the people that we love and thinking about them and looking at how they're moving. Using our third eye to think about, like, is my family member all right? Are they okay? And just being that sounding board for someone to come to and speak, family, it does a world of difference. It could save somebody's life.
Opening up that that level of comfort
Absolutely.
and talking about it.
For sure. Because, we can have conversations. I do group sessions all the time, right? Some of the things we got to get back to just, looking out for each other, right? Like, I'm going to tell you something that happened. I was so proud of this right here, bro. I went over and shook the sister hand. So, Sharina, she want to walk home from school. It ain't going to never happen. She ain't going to. It ain't gonna never happen, bro.
We talked about
We talked about this already, right? She walked home from school, right? But I'm in the car next to her, right? She like, Daddy, just back up like a car or something. I can't do it. I can't do it. You precious cargo to me, right? So, we walking down the street. I'm next to her in the car. Me, as a father, I haven't even thought about how this looks. I got my hazards on. I'm riding next to the girl. Ain't nobody say nothing, bro. One sister came out the house.
Who is
right? I was riding next to Sharina, and I told Sharina to come on to the car and she saw Sharina come into the car. She said, "Excuse me, young lady. Come in for a second." I had to look in my rearview mirror to see that she was walking down the street with her hands folded and her phone in her hand. Like, go on to that car if you want to. I'm on this right here, right? Bro, my first reaction was, now, who are you? I'm a father, right?
Right.
And then 2 seconds passed, and I was like, what if I wasn't her father?
Right.
This baby just saved my daughter's life.
Yeah.
Right? This is what we're talking about, family.
Yeah.
We're talking about taking control of our communities. We're waiting for somebody else to come fix problems because we feel as though the person who created the problem is the person that gotta fix it. No, family.
Yeah.
No. Responsibility doesn't necessarily mean accountability. Let's say that one more time, family. Because somebody is responsible for bringing us pain doesn't mean that they're accountable for fixing that pain. We're accountable for fixing the pain inside our communities, family.
We charge with it.
So what does that mean?
We charge with it.
Kings and queens, we got the great meeting is on.
Yeah.
Ain't no more walking through the house in silence, knowing that we got these type of problems underneath, where the baby girls can't come over, or they being touched by. No, we bringing this to the table right here. You are an infidel.
Yeah.
You are an infidel, fam.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You worse than the enemy. Listen to me, fam. We can't allow that right there.
You're destroying souls.
Right?
And with children
Within the community.
And with children, what is not discussed, when children are molested, they tend to molest other children.
Yeah, that happens.
So it's a sad effect that it just goes unaddressed, and it's toxic. It's traumatizing, and it's just, man, it's deep. And we got to get enough people aware. Everybody knows it's not about bringing awareness of being, making it to where we're comfortable in talking about it. We got to hold whomever it is accountable, regardless of who they are.
If I can share, like, the realness in that, because I don't want us to gloss over that. So my baby girl in pre-daycare, rather, was before school started, went through this, where there was a little girl who was, troublemaker, so to speak, was always getting into stuff. And Judea had started to retreat her personality. And it wasn't until probably about a year afterwards where she was fine, because I would ask her, what's wrong? Are you okay? No, I'm okay, I'm like, all right. And I'd ask Caleb, is anything happening? He's like, no, he wasn't seeing anything. But when nap time came around, this little girl would scoot her cot over to Judea and be rubbing on her. And so I had to have a conversation with the daycare. And the daycare's response was, oh, well, we're going to call her mama. And I'm like, what? Hold on. I understand you're trying to appease me. Mm-hmm. It's not about like, Judea's going to get counseling. We're going to be all right. Somebody must be touching this little baby because that's a learned behavior.
Yeah.
She's seeing something. So I don't want her in trouble. I want the issue addressed.
Yep.
And we were able to come together and address the issue. And it happened to be that baby's older brother, who was only like 15, who was being molested by an uncle. So just, what I'm saying? And
I'm so thankful that you have that type of understanding. Man, I'm so thankful to the Creator for the gifts of understanding.
Yeah.
Because everybody don't have the same portion.
Yeah.
Right? He gave everybody their measure and just do. Right? And so just for you to understand that it's a deeper problem, it was a deeper problem. It's not just this girl, trying to touch my daughter. Like, this is a learned behavior. Sometimes we don't know what we're looking at. You said that earlier, sis. Like, look at those little fast-tailed girls. Hold up now. What happened?
Why are they fast?
You know what I'm saying? Why this old man keep driving through the neighborhood 5 miles per hour down the block? Why he do that every day? What he looking at? You know what I'm saying? What's the thought process and the ideology behind this? Whose job is it to train them up right? This is what we're talking about today, family. Having that great meeting. You got to just do this for me, family. Grab all the young ladies in your family, right? Somebody do this. An auntie or uncle. Grab them in the room. Take a Saturday, 2 hours or something. Buy some snacks or something like that. Some drinks, some refreshments, and say, you know what? We just gonna come in here and we just gonna talk for 2 hours.
Family meeting.
We just gonna hold a meeting.
Yeah.
Ain't no topic. Let's go.
And it will blow your mind.
That's what Brother Eric was talking about on the call Monday.
Me and my brother, it's funny, like I said, that we picked this topic to talk about. Because me and my brother were talking about, like, how do we deal with this shit in the community? And, he was just saying that, a big part of the reason that this is so prevalent and the reason that it goes on is because people do not talk about it. They don't address it. They sweep it under the rug. They hide it. They try to cover it up. And he was saying, like, man, he was just, speaking in general. He was like, listen, if you're going to be in a household, if there are a bunch of people in a household, men, women, children living there or passing through frequently or regularly, he's like, man, everybody needs to sit down and have a conversation. Like, from the oldest to the youngest that can comprehend. And there needs to, he said, we gonna get this shit out in the open. Listen, baby, sweetheart, son, daughter, ain't nobody supposed to be touching you. Ain't nobody supposed to be doing nothing to you, rubbing on you, whatever. And if somebody is, you can come to me. You can come to an adult, and ain't nobody gonna do nothing to you, because he was talking about, how predators often use that. Well, if you do go tell somebody, I'm gonna kill your mama, I'm gonna hurt you. Make it understood that nobody's going to harm you. You know what I'm saying? And just in that space, by addressing it, you empower the child to a certain degree. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not just fail safe 100%, but you empower the potential victim to a certain degree, and you put motherfuckers that might be on that shit on notice too. You know what I'm saying? Like, you let them up, like, and the conversation we was having was, it was brutal. He was like, you let motherfuckers know, like, even somebody who may have that in their mind, this is what's gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? If this type of behavior is engaged in, and I really think that is a good that's a good first step, first approach. You know what I'm saying? Like if we gonna be, if you have people, because this shit, it often happens with people that you trust and you know.
Yep,
right?
already way comfortable with.
So if we call ourselves trusting each other and we around each other enough, we should be able to sit everything out on the table. Like we got to have this conversation because this type of shit happens. Listen, I'm not gonna stand for nobody touching my children. You know what I'm saying? If I do catch you, you know what's happening.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then you bring it, you tie it all together with the understanding for the child that they know that they have a safe space that they can come to. You know, because sometimes too, like you say, sometimes they don't even know what the hell is going on or what that this is not supposed to be happening.
Right.
You know.
Right.
So
And it gives you an opportunity as a family, because I know if I were in that meeting, I would be watching for the one that was acting a little bit different. You know, the one that
who
was
nervous.
like, you know, well, we don't need to talk about this. We don't need, I mean, you know what? Wasn't it? Ain't nobody touched you, did they, baby? Okay.
You telling that baby be quiet?
Yeah.
On the low.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, and oftentimes, like, that's how you can, weed out or pull out. And then as a family afterwards, you got to have a plan. If something like this happened, if they tell you it's the coach at school, it's the teacher, it's the, the piano teacher, what are we as a family going to do? How are we going to handle something like
how
this?
you gonna respond?
Yeah, what's the consequence?
And you need to think of that, like, because see, you need to plan and prepare for that type of shit. Like, what you gonna do?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I know this is an emotionally charged subject, and in the heat of the moment,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? You're what's name, but as as we're not in that situation and we can think, you need to be able to
Not
think
emotional.
and plan and like, okay, what's gonna happen now?
And I think that's
You
the
know?
beauty of this conversation, because it gives the community
Yeah.
an opportunity to critically think.
Yeah.
Like
What if?
we are exercising critical thinking skills right now. We overstand what we're doing on air.
Yep.
Right? Because someone may not have this conversation or may not feel safe to do it. Creating that space,
Yeah.
oh, that's everything right there, bro. Because you said it. When we have that conversation, it's not taboo anymore now.
Right.
That is not taboo anymore.
shouldn't
now.
be.
It should not be.
It should not be
Anything
taboo.
that harms us, right? Anything that harms us, we got to start addressing. It's been left in the dark, like rape and molestation. We don't know how to deal with diabetes. We don't know how to deal with things that harm us. Can't be taboo. We just called that grandmama has sugar. Ain't nobody knowledgeable.
Nobody ain't know nothing.
Yeah.
Don't nobody know what's
We didn't
going
know
on.
what mentally
she just had
challenged
too
was.
much sugar. But
And it's
you know,
misleading, because I like sugar.
Right. Now, you understand?
She got the sugar.
And right. And then it's so misleading for me because I'm not even understanding as a child
Right.
that sugar come in everything that we get.
Exactly.
So when I see her
That's
walk
what-
in with a 6-pack of Pepsi, I'm not understanding this was causing the diabetes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on. Yep.
We have to be educated.
Yeah.
Educated, and it starts with having that great meeting, because when you do that, that child knows it's like you said, it's not a fail safe, but it's for damn show a kickstand on the bike. If you got a kickstand on your bike, you ever ride a bike and you ain't had no kickstand on it? Yeah, you gotta lay your
ass was
shit
going
down.
down.
Come on, man. You don't even feel comfortable over here
Struggle to
like
pick
that,
it up,
man.
yeah.
It's like, I ain't
Yeah.
got no kickstand, all right? You're like, well, that kickstand is a support system for that bike.
Yeah.
When you have that conversation in front of the house, you a bona fide you a platinum kickstand for your child.
Yeah.
And
Go ahead, King.
real quick, and that conversation needs to happen as soon as the child can comprehend it. As soon as the child
Can I
can
say this?
understand, like if you know what I'm saying, you can feel out your child and know what's up. You know what I'm saying. If you allow your child to watch certain shit on TV and whatever, you know what I'm saying, they have a certain understanding of the world. Or what,
Concepts.
so as soon as they are able to comprehend, this conversation needs to happen, and it needs to happen regularly, like every
Come on.
6 months or some shit, 3 or 4 months. You know what I'm saying. Just keep
Listen.
laying that
Would
law
you be
down.
okay with the
Keep-
baby being in the room, even if you don't think, because babies be watching? So, like,
What
in
baby?
other words,
What's a
in other words,
baby?
if arm child, if I don't
Arm
care
baby?
how small you are, if the family is in here talking, you wouldn't feel like for at least explaining the good touch, bad touch,
They absorbing it too.
because they, you know what I'm saying? And
How old is the baby?
the baby is arm baby, little baby in my arm,
Months, 9 months.
breastfeeding baby.
Well, the
sitting
baby
here.
can't. The baby can't convey or tell somebody that
right.
they are being
that
touched,
part
or-
they can't. But as far as receiving information, I just personally feel
Oh,
like
okay. Oh.
babies, even though we don't understand their level of comprehension, I feel like they receive certain information and they're exposed
Energy,
to
yeah.
it.
Well, I would have
from-
to go with that, right?
Yeah.
Because the mother is connected to the child while the child is still in the womb.
Yeah.
So if
The
you
tone.
out,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? You can
That's-
feel vibrations, right? I understand that. You know what I'm saying? I understand that
Okay.
thought process. You know,
That's kind of the point that I was getting ready to make when, you know, people start stalling in the age when it's too early. But, you know, you don't have any children. But if you recognize and you sit there, like the kids be watching whatever they watching, but you listening as a mother, you know we multitasking. You can hear certain stuff and be like, what the hell?
Yeah.
You know, even
No matter how
now,
little
like
they
a
are.
lot
Turn
of the
that shit
kids,
off.
a lot of the kids watch YouTube. They all, like when we was doing an event Saturday, they all gathered around with the phone and they watched the same stuff. And so this Holland man, he black, so I ain't gonna talk about him too bad, but he screams all the damn time. And he's a game. He creates
A gamer.
game content. But one of them he cool, but the other one he'll let out a shit every now and again. It's just like, listen, it ain't that serious. You know what I'm saying? So I'm saying all that to say, like, sometimes these people that have the kids' attention, they slide in some stuff on you. You know, when we talk about like subliminal messaging and stuff like
Yeah.
that, when you could be sitting up watching something and you could have sworn you just saw a McDonald's commercial. Now all of a sudden you want McDonald's. That stuff is real. You know, so we sitting here and we looking at, I don't know nobody cartoons no more. After, you know, Lion King or something
Girl,
like that.
but Baby Shark, I don't know.
But yeah, but
Yeah.
whoever these little people is, you know, they talking about boyfriends, girlfriends, hugging, holding hands. So it's already introduced, you know, and I've said this before, like, we do not give our children enough credit in their comprehension. They understand a whole lot.
yeah, I know a lot of people that think that way, just don't give enough. So I want to wrap up what I heard and how I say that, because I had to put a quote in my head for that.
Yeah.
Because when I grapple with that thought right there, I'm like, oh, yeah, this make perfect sense to me. Why am I waiting to educate my child? Like, what am I waiting on, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, if I recognize my child, like, Daddy, that's a bird, all right, I'm going to the next step. We're going to identify what type of specific bird this is.
What's
You
the
ready
species?
for concepts.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? So how I say that, and the phrase that I use is, season your child with the maxims of truth from day one, in whatever capacity that is. I don't want you looking for no date right now. I'm saying this. When Sharina was born, I never said, hey, goo, 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 goo,
Yeah, yeah.
ga.
Yeah.
I said, hey, Sharina, my baby. Because English is the language that my child is trying to learn.
Right.
So we think we making a stronger connection by saying goo goo gaga, but you really just
confusing the fuck out of
hindered.
the
Yeah.
child.
I was just saying that, hindering.
You just slowed up your child's progress.
Yeah.
Because now I got to take 6 months to actually go through the fact that what you just said to me was not the English language. I have to throw that away. In a time in my life where I'm supposed to be absorbing everything, I have to throw something away because you gave me the wrong information as my first caretaker. Listen, family. It's important that you season your child with the maxims of truth from day one. I just saw a post. I'm not going to even shift there, but I'm going to say it. What's my brother from Mississippi, the rapper, the Conscious, we know, David Banner.
Oh, okay.
He had a post up, man, I'm so sick of black people lying to our children. Why y'all
Yes.
keep telling them about this fat old Santa Claus? Y'all
Yeah.
know big fat
I
white
saw
man
that.
ain't never came in there and did nothing for us.
We ain't
but
even
this.
got no
Yeah.
chimney.
Keep perpetrating a lie. Right? Which keeps our child looking that way for like a blessing. Right? Like we got to, as some form of fashion, family, in some way, we got to start continue chipping away at this and identifying our own leaders, real people that came through here under Harriet Tubman came through under the Santa Claus Act. Understand me?
gangsta shit.
Dropping off blessings, right?
Yeah.
We got to instill this within our youth, and it start with the conversations.
Now listen, Red.
It's Reddit rock.
Oh, okay. Cause look,
I
Reddit
know it
rock.
from,
Look,
from the morning show.
look,
Reddit rock.
Red Rock. Okay, Reddit rock. Okay, don't charge it to my head, not my heart.
Oh, look.
Sis said don't say that. No, but talk about confirmation. It's important to call genitalia by the proper name as well. And that's touching on what you're saying. Because, like, my godmama, I remember, she had a little daughter. And it's nothing but women in the house. It's my mother, my godmother, me, and her little girl, Sade. And I was taking Sade to the bathroom. She was like, and make sure she get a pocketbook from the front to the back. And my mama was like, what? And she said, no, I'm just telling her, make sure she get a pocketbook from the front to the back. My mom said, you mean her vagina? And immediately she was like, shh. And my mama was like, shh. We all got them. Like, everybody in the room, like, what is the issue? But we do have this confused, like, what's the price? Nothing wrong with it.
Go ahead, sis.
I just got to get this
Go
out.
ahead.
So I'm guilty of the pocketbook thing too, because my goddaughter, she was one of them kids that would say stuff out loud, like loud, And so I was like, I was taking her to daycare, and she was like, and I say, no, girl, you can't, that causes attention. You got your pocketbook, your pocketbook. And from then on, it was just pocketbook. But I get it why, because this little girl was loud, and she would say, we'd be in the grocery store, my itching. Hold on, girl. Don't be having people looking crazy now. So you have those kind of kids that, hey, they came with the gift of
You got to tell her.
let it out. Yeah. I didn't mean to, take her back, but
No, we all good. So me and Sister Oya, like, our brain kind of like work the same way in that space. We know each other in that way. You know what I'm saying, right? Like, we ain't had this conversation before, but we know each other in that way. We always like running through our mind like through the Rolodex. And as y'all was talking, I'm thinking about like, yo, all this is facts. When we talk about grandmamas, aunties, listen, I'm thinking about my family trauma. The fact that we was on Van Vlissingen on 95th, and then 2 blocks away, I got a whole nother set of family over here. But granddaddy the daddy, and how is this possible? You know what I'm saying? I got a whole nother set of aunties over here, whole nother set of family members. It's just things happen. I'm like, where did we learn this? Like, where was this forced upon us? Everything just go back to this slavery, bro. How the slave master just came in and just did our sisters a certain way, bro.
Yeah.
And the men didn't do nothing, and the sisters just had to suck that up. So when I see grandmama saying, shh,
Yeah.
I can see that on the plantation.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? This is why it's important for us to have conversations, because what we doing, when New Era Chicago grabs the microphone, you ever seen, like, it's these memes that come by and it's like a ball of yarn, but it's like 7 or 8 of them mixed up together with different colors, right? That's how information is in our head. What New Era Chicago does is we pull each string out one at a time.
Yeah.
It's hard to do that on your own, family.
Yeah.
It's hard to do that. We're going to pull it out, untangling this madness. Untangle it. We untangling it by having a conversation, family. And once we have the conversation, everything else will take care of itself. It'll fall into place. It always does, family. But we got to engage and do the first step, right?
yep.
For sure.
And another thing we haven't, we got to get to, and it's different ways. Brother Eric kind of touched on it, the accountability part, because as a child operates and understands, that'll be an adult soon.
Right.
And so, when you become an adult and you allow, certain things to get past you, or certain, you allow certain people to kind of like overpower you in a sense. You become that as an adult. You don't have the know-how to stand up for yourself. So you may become victim to that because they know you won't say nothing. You quiet or what have you. So, when we talking about this with the children, we also got to address it with the adults as well, because it's accountability. Nobody gets a pass from this stuff.
Yeah.
And until it's found that you have not and did not, allegeds to me are just as guilty, because how do we know? What do we do in our community to get to the bottom of this? Did we sweep it under the rug because of XYZ, or, because this is a continued generational behavior. This is something that's happening in our communities, and it's far beyond, it's not, I can't say without resolve, but it's something that needs to be addressed.
I think a part of it is because they were you didn't want to turn your son, your brother, whoever over to the police,
To your enemy.
to
Let's
your
just say
enemy, because you know how they were going to respond. You knew he wasn't going to come home. They were probably going to do something to him. So there was probably a desire to protect the baby, but also protect this family member. And so you
Absolutely.
protect the baby by saying, don't go down in that basement or put some clothes on.
And that is why the ultimate goal is to get the community to a certain point where it's to, I'm sorry, 3 minutes? Okay. It's to get the community to a certain point where it's all eyes. Because see, right now, the community, we have issues in our community, in our society that go unaddressed. And so because we're not looking at them, when these problems arise, we have to go to the system, the state, or our enemies. You know what I'm saying? But if we can get the community on point, where we can see these issues, we got eyes on this shit, we'll know what to do. We will know how to address each situation, case by case basis. You know what I'm saying? But because we're so broken, so disconnected, so disjointed, so fractured, you know, everybody's doing their own thing till something as serious as the topic of rape and molestation, it's met with either just incredible rage and violence, or it's ignored.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? It's dismissed. If we get our community together, we gonna know exactly what to do when it's time to chop heads. When it's time to really to use a Bible scripture. I grew up in church. To rightly divide the matter, you know what I'm saying? Really go in there and find out what's pertinent, what's true, you know what I'm saying? So that's the ultimate goal, man. You know, all of these issues, every single issue we face can be solved and addressed. It ain't not one single issue that we can't solve by coming together and understanding that whole communal piece.
Action,
you know?
family, action. Aggressively coming together in our own neighborhoods, family.
Can you, because I know you're trying to wrap it up because we short on time, but we do have some, you know, resources in the community. We didn't get a chance to highlight the Black business, but if you could, brother, if you can, let us know what you do. What you do.
Yeah, so what I do...
We off.
So what I do, the Minds Over Nines Gun Violence Prevention Program, this is because, remember earlier I said those is closest to the problem are closest to the solution. You know, like I don't want to change topics because both of these are like problems inside our community. Some people have dealt with both, rape and molestation, and have had a gun pointed to their head, you know, in the process. And so what I did was come up with a program that can be able to help young men and women who perhaps may have a mother or father that's incarcerated, or one that's dealing with it right now and don't know how to talk about it. And here's that last piece, too, the mental illness piece. Yeah, I didn't want to tell him uncle because he was dealing with epilepsy. He was dealing with this, right? We know if it wasn't that, this probably wouldn't happen right there. So, family, listen, we all have to come together. I can definitely talk about this topic on later dates coming up, but I want us all, if we all have information on how to assist each other, this feed stays up, right?
Yeah.
Make sure you come back on there and put support systems and ways that people who can call out to if you're in the situation.
We got to revisit this topic again, too.
We
Definitely.
We do, bro.
Family, if y'all have a chance, December 19th, 2021, we are having our Kids Ride at the Quarry, 2423 East 75th Street from 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. Please like and subscribe to the New Era Facebook page so that you all can have details and whatnot. We would love for y'all to come out.
And donate if you
No
can.
doubt. And if you're out in the community, be watching for that red, black, and green tonight
Yes,
because
sir.
we will be out. The streets is watching. New
All
York,
power
Chicago
to the
will be moving
people.
around. All power to the people, family.
All power to the people.
Melanated mood muse, always service humble pop. We don't care about who's who, like brown or dark skin. This right here's for you too. We are the gods of the earth, living proof truth. Say it loud if you black and proud. I salute you and that's a fact. Where you at? Let me hear you say it back. I love being black. We turning up. I love being black. Say it loud, man. I love being black. One more time. I love being black. Hey.